Right. Pooja, stay on with us. So the NCW team, I beg your pardon, visited the Argar hospital. We'll get you more updates on that. Meanwhile, we have breaking inputs coming in. More details on the main accused. The Kolkata monster is out now. The accused arrested was a civic volunteer. We're also given to understand that he was a member of the police welfare board and had been allotted a bike. Remember, we told you that police was written on that bike. Pooja continues to be with us on the broadcast. Pooja, the big question here is, since he was part of the police welfare board, did they not conduct any background check on this individual? Did he also have access to all the departments?
Well, absolutely. He has been identified as the civic volunteer, and he would frequent this hospital very often, and he had access to all the departments. In fact, the doctors here, the junior doctors, resident doctors have in fact highlighted that they have notice accused Sanjay Rai. He would go to all of the departments. So now police in fact investigating how frequently he would visit the hospital, whether he conducted any recce before committing this heinous crime. But questions being raised that someone who is employed with the state government, with Kolkata Police's civic volunteer, how could he go, scot-free after, committing this heinous crime? And questions being raised that people who are employed as civic volunteers, whether a thorough background check is conducted or not. But at this point in time, police is saying that the accused of rape and murder of the lady doctor at Argar Medical College and Hospital was in fact arrested within 24 hours of him committing the crime. But here, the doctors who are on the strike since Friday have been saying that they suspect more than one person's role into the crime, and the other persons involved should immediately be arrested.
Absolutely. He may have been arrested, but how are people inducted into the police welfare board? Whether or not a background check is conducted, what are his links? All that needs to be investigated, and these questions need to be answered by the cops. Pooja, stay on with us. You were just reporting live on the NCW team which had reached the Argar hospital. We saw one of the members of that team leave the hospital, did not speak to the media at the moment. Authority vowed to check lapses. That's what the NCW is saying at the moment. So the team visited Argar hospital to take stock of the situation there, and they have arrived at a conclusion that there were several lapses. The authority has now vowed to check the lapses. Pooja.
Well, absolutely. We've seen how the NCW member had arrived at the Argar Medical College and Hospital today. Yesterday, the member had visited the Kolkata Police Headquarters, Lal Bazar. She also spoke to the senior officials of Kolkata Police and also got details into the case and the details of the investigation. But today, while she interacted with the junior doctors and the resident doctors, she in fact came from the administration building, and this is the very building where the seminar hall is housed. She reached that floor where the seminar hall is housed. She looked around the place of occurrence. She spoke to the authorities and doctors here, and she also had a first-hand experience of what could have happened on that night when the lady doctor was raped and murdered.
Stay on with us. We have more breaking inputs coming in. Now, our reporters are getting us updates on the pan-India protest which is currently underway. The demand coming in from these resident doctors who are protesting is not just justice in this particular case, but also demanding safe and secure environment for the doctors across all the hospitals in the country, especially the female staff. So the big developments that we are getting for you. One, the High Court has come down heavily on the government for the new posting given to the ex-principal. The High Court has made it clear that leave application be submitted by 3 p.m. and that the ex-principal be sent on an extended leave. Why was he not questioned? Pertinent questions there being asked by the High Court. Amidst all that, the NCW team has also visited the hospital and has arrived at a conclusion at the moment that there were several security lapses that have been reported and that the authorities have now vowed to check those lapses. Amidst all this, the protests continue as well. And what we have here, in fact, are horrific, shocking, gory details of the preliminary autopsy report, the preliminary postmortem report that talks in detail about the torture. It was not just, this is not just a detail of the injuries on the body of the victim, but this, in fact, is a gory tale of how she was tortured and murdered, brutally raped in the premise of the hospital, in a conference room of the hospital. This is what they found in their process of post-mortem. She was in half-naked condition. These are observations, part of the preliminary autopsy report. Multiple hair strands on the mattress, which was blood-soaked. One of the observations says that the body was lying on a blue mattress which was completely blood-soaked. These are observations of the post-mortem report. I found a hair clip near her vagina. This is the kind of torture that she had to endure before she was brutally murdered. A broken spectacle near her body. All of these things were found near her body, and there are, in fact, this here that you see is a list, 10 injuries listed, which will tell you that there was not even an inch of space of skin left on her body that was unharmed or that was uninjured. Let's in fact go across to our experts on the broadcast. We are joined by Dr. Trupti Gilada, infectious physician, Unison Medicare and Research Center. The big question that many are asking, could this have been done by one person or one animal or monster, as people are calling him? Could there be more people involved? What does your assessment say when you come across these gory details, part of the post-mortem report?
We know now that this was an act done under the influence of alcohol, and we know that such acts can be done by even one person. Of course, the entire investigation will tell us more, but it's an extremely gruesome act. It does highlight the lack of safety, the lack of dignity for women, and just the lack of SOPs for safety protocols in workplaces, especially hospitals and medical colleges where doctors, including female doctors, work odd hours. They work at night. Their transport isn't taken care of. Leave aside the transport, just bare minimum necessities like security for women on their own campus. There are no SOPs or safety protocols. And I think this really highlights the lack of all of that in the system.
Absolutely. Dr. Trupti Gilada, stay on with us. Before I come back to you, let's in fact highlight the details that have come to fore in this preliminary post-mortem report that was prepared on the 9th of August 2024. The details have come out now that talk about the unimaginable gore, that talk about the kind of torture that was done, that she had to suffer. She was brutalized. Here is a snapshot of that preliminary post-mortem report, and we've highlighted for you the pointers that talk about multiple injuries all across her body, bleeding from both eyes. There was severe injury on her face, bleeding from mouth, bleeding from both eyes. Apart from that, injury over the face and nail. Not even an inch of her skin or body part that was not harmed or injured. She was also bleeding from vagina, bleeding from her private parts, injury in her left leg as well. Apart from that, it talks about injury in belly, injury over left leg, ankle, then injury at her neck. Not just that, it does not end there. Injury on right hand ring finger and injury over her lips as well. Trupti Gilada, I'm finding it extremely difficult to even read this out. And one cannot, in fact, imagine. At the moment, I am imagining the worst possible for, myself, for women around me, for women in the workforce, for women who are working in unsafe environment at workplace. This is just unimaginable.
Unimaginable. And, I agree with you that when such things happen, we really could have been one of them. Wherever we are, whether we are doctors, we are in whatever workplace we are in. And, this has happened because people think they can get away with such crimes. Today, after this rape and murder, of course, there are protests. The media has taken it up in a big way. The issue is being politicized. But this can easily die down like so many other crimes. And, this is not the first time this has happened. There would be one or two convictions out of so many rapes that happen. I think this is a time to really stand up together and make sure that not just this person or this accused but so many other accused in the previous crimes are really convicted, because then you send a really strong message that we do not take such things. It cannot be tolerated. Only when people have, there are some reports that this accused was probably a habitual person. And he could get away with this because in the previous times he was let to go scot-free.
Absolutely. And why this shakes us, why this is so shocking. Every incident of rape or a crime against women needs to be highlighted, needs to be spoken about. But this is, shocking to us also because it's happening in a city like Kolkata, inside a hospital, in a conference room, not a remote area. Stay on with us, Dr. Trupti Gulada. We have some breaking